going on right now. You have your Cybertruck out front.
Yeah. Freak, this is too tall. Whatever. We'll do one more episode with these. Jimmy, how's the weekend?
It's good. It's good to be
Hey, make sure to not touch that at all. Okay.
It's good to be back.
Should I sign language and just keep pushing buttons in the air?
I legit don't even know what's happening right now. Like, are you gonna do the whole episode like this?
I don't know. We'll see. All right,
let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. Sorry, this is a little bit delayed. This guy, Jimmy, was out partying in California with all the rain.
Pouring rain.
Pouring rain. How was
Miserable.
the weekend?
Miserable.
Okay.
Poured.
All right, we'll get into that a little bit throughout the episode. But first and foremost, we'd like to give a big shout out to our title sponsor.
Yes.
Who is that, Jimmy?
The Pickler.
Pickler.
Can you see the Pickler in there? Can you
yes,
see
let me pull up any location right now so I can do that. Click into it. And right now I am immersed fully as if I was inside of a Pickler location.
The Pickler. Insane. Shout out the Pickler. Check them out. The best indoor pickleball facilities in all the world, because we're going international with this.
We are. And then aligned with that, and also a new sponsor of ours, is Pickleball Central.
Yes.
We love Pickleball Central. They have an incredible return policy. We have a code with them, KOTC, that saves you the most amount of any discount out there, and it supports us and them.
Yeah. Go to Pickler or to Pickleball Central.
I think these goggles are throwing you off.
They are. I'm shook. I'm legit shook right now. Like, I don't even know what's happening.
I'm recording this, by the way.
I feel like you're like, it's like X-ray vision.
I can see right through you.
Yeah, I feel like it's. Anyways, Pickleball Central, check it out. Code KOTC. A lot of you used our code on the last episode. Thank you. Please continue to use it. That's how we can make these episodes. Buy all of your things.
And it is not limited to one specific brand, which is
anything you want. Yeah,
buy Vulcan, Yola, Paddle Tech.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Exactly.
Our code will work on probably 95% of their items.
Yeah, we've got something for everybody. So code KOTC at Pickleball Central. Also, Tyler,
talk to me.
Speaking of the Pickler,
okay,
this week we are going to take the pod on the road.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news.
Okay, where are we going?
We're taking the pod on the road.
Okay.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
What's that?
Okay, well, we're going to Las Vegas.
Vegas, let's go.
We're going to Vegas this weekend.
Okay.
With the Pickler boys.
Okay.
They've got a big event down there like they did with F1. We're going to take the pod. We're going to try and get quite a few people, but we do have a guest lined up.
We have one guest lined up that we're going for. Who is it?
The new national spokesman for the Pickler.
Okay.
Super Bowl MVP, owner of Los Angeles Mad Drops.
Tom Brady?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, let's go.
Drew Brees. He will be on the pod this week.
Okay.
We're going to have him on. We're going to interview him. We're going to cut this out if he doesn't show up. But right now we are planning on having Drew Brees on. It's going to be sick. We're pumped up. We're going to be in Vegas at the NFL Experience at the Super Bowl. Who are you rooting for?
Football. Let's go. Let's get a good game. Who's playing?
Did you see that your girl, Taylor Swift, has a new album coming out?
Yeah, she announced it at the Grammys.
Yes, of course you know that.
Yeah.
Big announcement.
Yeah.
April 19th. Should we do a listening party on the pod?
That would be fun.
Like a live listening party?
Yeah.
Do you know how many Swifties play pickleball?
So this is weird because I do enjoy Taylor Swift. I like her music. I think she's good. And I kind of joke around with it a little bit. But you know how Spotify does the rap, the end of the year stuff?
Yeah.
She was literally my number one listened to artist.
Yeah, of course she was.
It's kind of surprising.
It's not surprised to anybody that watches this show. Taylor Swift, yeah, she's great.
Anyways, we are going to the Super Bowl. We're leaving Friday, and we're actually not even staying for the actual game. But we'll be there for all the pre-game.
Yeah, there's a lot of pre-activities, a lot of things that they're doing. we may change our flights. We'll see.
Maybe.
But with that being said, hopefully we can get some content for you guys there. We can get some people. There's a lot of NFL guys. I mean, Golden Tate is another one who I met in San Clemente. Super cool guy. Obviously played for the Lions and the Seahawks.
Okay, I'm taking this off.
Okay, good. Please.
I feel a little bit awkward. I feel like you don't know how to.
I can't interact with you. Like I literally am shook. Oh my gosh, thank you.
There we go.
That was awful.
Should I keep it right here on the table?
Sure.
Can Apple be a sponsor of ours?
I mean, if Apple ever sponsors this show, you don't need to play pickle anymore.
All right, sorry about that. This is a little bit more normal.
So there's a lot of guys, Golden Tate, Marcellus Wiley, a lot of dudes that played in the NFL that are big pickle guys now.
Yep. And not only that, there should be some celebrities that we may or may not be able to get on the pod. They're going to be very short, maybe 5, 10, 15-minute interactions with them. But yeah, if there's anything you want us to ask these types of celebrities about pickleball or life or whatever, feel free to drop those in the comments and we will do our best to answer or to ask those questions.
Yeah.
One other announcement before we get going with this episode is 2 days ago, this is a long time in the making, but we announced a new platform for us to connect with you guys on Discord.
We have a KOTC Discord.
KOTC Discord.
It's already hopping, by the way.
Yeah, we got like over 150 members, and maybe we'll cap it around 300 or 500 or something like that. So if you are wanting to stay up to date with KOTC and also all things pickleball, make sure to join us. Go to Instagram to check out our latest post that has the direct link. We'll also include it in the description below. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's all things pickleball. Everyone's bombarding Jimmy with questions.
We've dropped some nuggets in there, so check it out. It's just fun. Like, it's a good way. It's another way to interact. It's almost like a giant text chain with all your pickleball obsessed degenerates. So it's great. We'll clean it up and do some things with it, do some giveaways, things like that as we get it going more. But go check it out for sure.
I might need to change my name. I don't think a lot of people know my name in there at the moment.
Yeah, they will though.
Yeah.
You're going to say something and it's going to give it away.
Okay. It's a picture of of a little pudgy.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay. Anyways, this last week was PPA Mesa Desert Ridge.
Desert Ridge. See, PPA, these goggles have you shook now.
I'm still
Desert Ridge in Phoenix at the JW Marriott.
Which rumors are that was the last time they will be there at that venue. They've pretty much outgrown it, and I don't think the actual hotel loved having the amount of people that attends those tournaments each year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Walking on the grass, the bathroom situation, the trash situation, the parking situation, everything. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to bring in these tournaments.
But it's actually a good thing for the PPA that they've outgrown it.
100%.
I mean, I heard that it's a great venue, but like Championship Court only holds 700 people. The courts are pretty tight. All the side courts are pretty tight.
PPA claims they like sold 2 to 3x the amount of seats allotted.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, that's why people couldn't get in.
Yeah.
But the turnout was great. It looked great on TV.
Hey, make sure to not touch the mic stand.
Oh yeah, sorry. These mic stands. I want to hold.
I think we're going to switch back.
I want to hold it. So the turnouts were great. It looked like, the fans definitely came out. The wind looked rough.
A little bit, yeah.
It looked like there was some wind issues.
Yep. All right, so what do you want to do? You want to go through the draw?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Okay, let's go through. We'll start with women's singles. So, Annalie.
Are you shocked?
No.
You're not shocked that she won?
No.
That was weird, huh?
I don't foresee anybody.
You don't?
At least right now. At least for the next 3 to 4 months. I don't foresee anybody in the women's singles
touching her. Not even Catherine?
No. Not consistently. She might give her 1 or 2 close games, but
I think the one thing about women's singles was
I think Paris had the best shot. I think a player like Dominique Schaefer could come in if she took it extremely serious. Caitlin Christian, she could do something.
Did Leia have a chance before she took some time off? Can she get back to that?
I'm sure she can get back to that, but
because she was the closest. Let's be honest. I mean, Tyra beat Annalie once. but then she stopped playing singles. Can Leia get back to that? Because I felt like Leia was on the cusp of beating her a couple times. But being close to beating her and breaking through are two different things. And we saw that. That's probably the theme of the weekend.
Yeah.
Is how many teams, and we'll go through this, but we're very close to beating Annalie and Ben, but they weren't able to get it done.
Yep.
So women's singles, I would say that honestly the best match that I saw, and actually it was over 2 days, was Mary Brasha versus Leia.
That went all 3 games.
All 3 games. It was 11-9 for Mary, 15-13 Leia, and then 11-9 for Mary.
And that was a semifinal?
It was a semi, yep.
To get into the finals.
Get in the final, and it ended up carrying over because the weather started raining, and at the end of game 1, it started raining and wind, and so they started and played game 2 and game 3 the next day.
Gotcha.
But it was an awesome match. Both of them played really well. Leia's got this forehand roll down right now that was freaking just cross court. But Mary was just stood back and she played tennis. She wasn't playing pickleball. She was playing tennis, and it worked for her. The other person who played really well, Caitlin Christian.
Yeah, I think she has a lot of potential. And I think she's full on pickleball now. She used to be doing a hybrid of tennis and pickleball, but now I'm pretty sure she's full on pickleball. Yeah,
Caitlin played well. She ends up winning the bronze medal, beats Leia, like 5-2, plays super well. In the championship, in the gold medal match, I mean, Annalie, it was 11-2, 11-1. That match probably took 7 minutes, so, good for Mary, got that silver medal, but she just did not even stress Annalie out. I'm not even sure Annalie broke a sweat. So
okay, men's singles.
Men's singles was as exciting as it gets.
Yeah. I've said this before, but I think and I truly believe that singles is so physical, so intense, so exciting. I think that's where you're going to see the most upsets, and you're going to have a lot of new people breaking through.
And we saw that, right?
Yep. So Ben Johns, he lost to Xiaomei. Don't ever do that again.
That's how he says it.
So he lost to him in quarters or round of 16?
In the quarters. And here's what's crazy is Ben won game 1, 11-4, and you're like, okay, Ben's going to roll. Xiaomei comes back and wins 11-5, 11-5. And they really weren't even that close. I mean, Xiaomei just got hot. And he played extremely well. He's a guy that, so let me ask you this, because this is funny, because a lot of people were saying that Xiaomei, I saw comments where they're like, he's not taking it serious. Does he not care about this match? And they were saying that even in the gold medal match. But that's just how Xiaomei plays. He's very loose on the court, right? He's not a super intense guy.
Yeah.
He has fun.
I think he is intense, but he also has a lot of fun. Like he can be playing in a very intense point, but somebody will crack a joke and he'll laugh at it.
Exactly. Yes. And it doesn't mean that he's not taking it serious. It doesn't mean that he's giving 100%.
Yeah.
That's just how he plays. And that's his style.
Oh, by the way, we really need a sarcastic button here because people still don't understand when I'm joking and when I'm not. So whenever I'm joking, I got to smash that button so they know.
That's because there's a little bit of truth in all sarcasm.
That is true.
So I predicted Chris Hayworth would win. He lost in the quarters to Jay in 3.
He did beat Connor Garnett, though, right?
He did beat Connor Garnett, which is a good win.
Yeah.
And then Xiaomei wins. He plays Jay, ends up beating Jay 11-9 in the third.
I did watch the third game of that match, and it was fun. It was exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. And then Fed.
Did you hear what Jay said to Xiaomei towards the end? I think Xiaomei was up 10-8.
Yeah.
And Jay says he doesn't want this. And I think he did.
Well, but he said he did. It doesn't matter if he did or he didn't. Let's just say it.
And he said it loud enough for Xiaomei to hear.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of funny.
That is funny. And he clearly did because he beat him. And then Fed I felt like Fed had a tough road. So Fed had to beat Will Howells, who won the qualifiers.
Yes. Will Howells is good. He's really good. And he just started. However, Fed beat him, I think,
0-5.
Yeah, 0-5 or something like that.
11-0, 11-5.
Yeah.
And then he had to play Christian Alshon. And he rolled him 4-7.
Yeah. I was actually there watching that one live,
Yeah. And then he had to play Tyson.
He lost the first game.
Lost the first 11-9.
Yep.
And then wins the next two 7-4.
There was if my recollection is correct, there was a slight rain delay
Yes.
in that second game.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's when Fed kind of turned it around.
Yeah.
Had that rain delay not been there, then who
Tyson
knows?
may
Maybe.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he goes to the gold medal match and he actually loses game 1. And not only did he lose game 1, but Jamais looked really good. Jamais looked like the better player, looked like he was going to kind of run away with this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he beats him 11-2 in the second and 11-8 in the third. And he made Sports Center top 10.
Top 1. Wasn't it the number 1 play?
James's was number 1.
Oh, James was number 1. Sorry.
Yeah. But Fed was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
Yeah, kind of that same thing, that kind of behind the back. It wasn't quite a tweener, but he was chasing a ball down, it was insane point.
Yeah.
Him and Jamais put on an absolute show.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, go back to YouTube, watch that. It's definitely worth the watch. So congrats to Fed, gold medal. And then Jay.
Where do you put Fed in the rankings?
In singles?
Yeah.
I mean, he's top 3 for sure.
Do you think he's 2? You wouldn't put him as 1.
I don't put him as 1. I think that you got to beat Ben. I think Ben's still 1.
So you put him as 2?
I think he's 2. I think he's past Tyson. I think he's past Tyson at this point. And then Jay continues his resurgence this year and takes home the bronze.
Had an incredible start to 2024.
He has.
Yep.
Is it the paddle?
Could be. He's using a new paddle that he loves. Let's see. How did he do in Masters and singles?
I thought he got semis again, didn't he?
Okay.
I think, yeah.
I can't remember. He's done great.
Yeah. So
go check out. Well, actually, it's not out yet, but I'm using a very similar paddle to him. They should be released in April of this year. So
yeah,
go check them out then.
Yeah. So Fed, big win. Jamais, Jay. No, there's no Americans on that list.
Yeah. Crazy.
Okay.
Pickleball's
gone international.
Mixed doubles.
Yes. Mixed doubles was, I would say that the most exciting thing about mixed doubles was the emergence of Augie.
Yes.
Is it Ge?
You're going to be called racist, so you better be careful here.
Well, I just heard
it's spelled G-E.
I heard it pronounced by the announcers 8 different ways. Speaking of announcers, let's get into something really quick. Okay.
Tell us, Jimmy.
I know how difficult this is. Okay. I have done grandstand.
Do I need to step away from the mic when you talk right now?
You might.
Okay.
I've done grandstand. Look, I don't think I'm very good at it. I think it's hard. Okay. So I'm not gonna it's difficult. Okay. It's a hard thing to do. However, go read the comments. Right?
Okay.
Jim Kloss was a disaster. Dude, he was bad. And whoever the lady that was doing it with him was even worse. Mm-hmm. She was horrible. She was lighting up referees, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. And instead of coming off as how do I say this? Jim knows the game. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's no doubt that Jim knows pickleball. He has a pretty good understanding of high level pickleball. Okay. Mm-hmm. Whether he can play it or not still remains to be seen. But
he thinks me and him would destroy you and Jilly B.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, we would.
No way. Serious?
Yes, we've already been over this.
Did you see your results last week?
Hey.
Jilly B carried Christine Maddox a lot further than you did.
Hey, calm down now. Calm down.
So my point is with Jim, one, he talked the entire freaking time, literally over every point, never stopped talking. Number 2, he talks like he does on his Facebook posts. And so he comes off as this huge know-it-all. And you have professional pickleball players.
He's a smart guy.
Here's the thing, dude. You're a pro for a reason, okay? And I know that I just gave you crap a second ago, but you're a professional pickleball player for a reason. Mm-hmm. The rest of us are just fans, right? Yes. We do know the game. We watch the game. We're fans. And fans do have rights to love and hate whoever they want. That's part of being a fan. But Jim Kloss talks like he is the end all be all when it comes to pickleball. Mm-hmm. And there's 2 ways to do things in life. His way and the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that's how he acts. Yeah. And that's how he talks when he announces. And it's wild. And literally I watched Riley and Jackie. Did Jackie play great? No. Did Riley? Hell no. He was awful.
Yeah.
Also, if you're playing mixed doubles and the female's not playing great, then you need to take over.
Yeah.
But Kloss spent the entire match lighting up Jackie, which makes 0 sense. But we all know that, he's got that love affair with Riley Newman.
It was in 2 games, right?
Yeah, it was in 2. It was like 11-6, 11-6. They got crushed. Like, it is what it is. They didn't play well. But it's just like he is so adamant that his way is the correct way. And he just continues to talk the entire point, the entire match, never stops talking, never lets you actually watch a point because you have to hear his freaking voice. And honestly, his voice, it's not meant for, seriously, it's not meant to be listened to. Like,
what's it meant for?
It's meant to be quiet. It's like, it's just.
So when are we getting Jim Kloss on the pod?
Just drowns you out.
When is Jim coming on the pod?
We're not, because people will drown it out and they'll shut it off. Like, I actually think, like I said, I've talked to Jim.
I'm not agreeing with Jimmy.
I've talked to Jim. Jim's fine. He is who he is, right? Like, Jim and I are fine. We've exchanged text messages. We've talked. I don't think Jim is a bad person. I just think that Jim Kloss has a massive, massive ego, and it carried over to his announcing.
He did all 3 days, right? Or 4?
Yeah,
four days.
which is why championship court, nobody listened. Like this, if listening to championship court doesn't make you appreciate like Mish even more, honestly, you could say whatever you want, but like at least she gets it. You know who actually was good?
Who?
Kyle Kazuda. He was on with Mish.
Okay.
And he was good.
Yeah.
I thought Kyle did a really good job.
Yeah.
But Kloss was not it. He is not the answer. Go on the forums. They agree. PPA made a massive mistake having Jim Kloss on.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add for mixed doubles?
No.
So mixed doubles is crazy.
There's a lot to talk about mixed doubles. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into mixed doubles.
Okay. I've said this for a while as well, but I continue to believe that we will see more and more upsets in pickleball.
Yeah. So Tyra was supposed to play with Dylan Frazier.
Yes.
Dylan pulled out due to some contract disputes. He's technically not under contract, so we didn't have Dylan in this tournament. We didn't have J-Dub. We didn't have Georgia. We didn't have Millie Rain. We didn't have Gabe Tardio. They all pulled out. So
and Lindsay Newman as well.
And Lindsay Newman, who's not going to play until she gets paid, which is crazy because she was probably there, wasn't she?
She was there, yeah.
Yeah, because this is in her backyard. Yeah. So Tyra pulled out, and Dylan pulled out, and Tyra needed a partner. So she ends up getting hooked up with Augie.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody who's watched the Arizona Pickleball League and follows pickleball, watches results, you knew he was a good player.
Yeah.
Right. Like people being surprised by this, clearly they're not watching. Like it didn't take some genius to hook him up. It didn't take some like super, like pat yourself on the back because you hooked him up. Maybe Tyra didn't know who he was, but if you watched Arizona Pickleball League, I mean, the guy is a beast.
Yeah.
He's a lefty. He's a solid player. Him and Craig Johnson. I mean, Ben Johns, it wasn't a month ago that Ben Johns called them the 2 best players in Arizona. Like he was very clear about that.
Yeah. He's been playing a year and a half?
He's been playing a while. Yeah. I don't know. I remember seeing him. I remember last year before I was with the Black Bears, Richie went to like Newport, I think, to do some scouting, and he was playing down there. Yeah. So again, it doesn't take some like genius to be like, oh, you should play with this person. Like people knew that he was good. She needed a partner. Last minute, he lives in Arizona. It just made sense. Yeah. Okay. So they had a good run.
They make it to the semifinals.
Yeah, which is an amazing run. I don't think anybody expected that. Yeah. But it was definitely an amazing run. But like we said, Ben has called Augie and Craig the 2 best players in Arizona multiple times.
Pablo and Etta. Yeah. Match points.
Yeah.
Match points.
2 match points against Ben.
Yeah.
Pablo had overhead.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I did see Pablo miss one into the net on the serve, but I didn't see the other point.
Lacey Schneeman had a match point.
AJ. Lacey misses a serve.
Misses a serve. Match point.
AJ has a volley. I don't know if it was a put away volley, but he kind of has a little bit of a sitter forehand, and he misses that.
Against Matt and Lucy.
Yep,
I know. Zane and Coop almost lose to Daniel De La Rosa and Tammy Emmerich.
Yeah. The third game wasn't that close.
Third game wasn't close, but Tammy and DLR had them in game 1.
Yeah.
And then I would say the biggest upset early on was Elise and Connor Garnett beating Megan and Tyson. I mean, they had made the finals the previous tournament.
I would say that's an upset. You wouldn't think on paper, that they would have won, but I don't know. I mean, anybody who knows those players, I don't think would say that's an upset.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to go real quick, Tyra and Augie's run. Okay. So they played Dana Ragas and Daniel Jensen, who are, I think Daniel Jensen's an Arizona guy.
Yeah.
So they beat him 6-5. Then they played Leia and Jack Monroe.
That was a long match.
Ended up going 3 games. They ended up beating him in 3, 11-6 in the third. Then they roll through Jackie and Riley. Now, the one thing I will say that was weird is Jackie and Riley played Chuck and Chow Yi. And then it seemed like they stepped on the court immediately after that. I felt like the matches were like super back-to-back this tournament. Did that feel like that?
Well, I didn't have many matches to go off of, but I think it just kind of goes with the scheduling.
Yeah.
If there's courts available, they always try to prioritize the bigger names, the main draws on GS or center court.
Because some of those players, I was told, in the women's doubles complained. They actually weren't supposed to play.
So that venue, I mean, it's a beautiful landscape. It's in Arizona, normally good weather. However, the courts are fairly small, especially for singles. You're hitting the back fence every single point.
You saw a lot of players trying to get back, and
So that's one small negative about that.
So
facility.
they beat Riley and Jackie 11-6, 11-6. Then they beat Matt and Lucy in 3, 11-5, 4-11, 11-5.
Yep.
And then they actually hung with Ben and Annalie decent. 11-7, 11-9.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. And then Anna and James, it felt like they just rolled through everybody. James was just beasting. He looked, I said this before, I think he's the second best men's mixed player in the world. He looked like it.
The more that Ben or James and Anna play Ben and Annalie, the bigger the gap will become, I think. Because Ben and Annalie are so strategic and so smart. They'll figure it out even more.
Where other people are saying the opposite, that they think that James and Anna are going to beat him this year, but
they might beat him once or twice, but the vast majority of the times, I would imagine Ben.
They beat him 11-6, 11-3.
It's the people like Pablo and Anna that Ben doesn't see the partnership ever. Is what's going to give them a hard time, in my opinion. It's the AJ Kohlers, the DJ Youngs, the Augie, the Pablo, all those people who Ben and Annalie haven't seen before.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly has his strategy down for
Me
James.
and Lee Waters took Annalie and Ben 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, he clearly has his strategy down for Anna Bright and James Ignatowicz. Like, he has that locked in.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat him 11-6, 11-3, 11-0. Like, it kept getting worse.
Yeah.
They're like, if they played a 4th game, they would have got negative points, right? Like,
and no slight against James and Anna. I mean, they're an incredible team, in my opinion. They're the number 2 team right now. But
for sure. But yeah, so mixed doubles, Ben and Annalie win again. But congrats to Tyra. Tyra and Augie, they did end up losing in the bronze medal match to Vivian David and Thomas.
Do you know the score there?
Yeah, it was 8 and they lost 11-8. It honestly wasn't even that close. I think they were down like 9-1 in that one. And then
I'd be interested.
Lost 12-10.
I would be very interested to see if Augie and Tyra played another tournament, how that would go.
I doubt they do. Yeah. It's possible they play Mesa, but I think Dylan is planning on playing Mesa.
Yeah.
So I doubt they do, but I could see Augie getting better partners now. I could see him, maybe someone jumps in there. But
his partnership with Tyra, how they would do, because in my,
it's a lefty.
It's the unknown.
Nobody's ever seen him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I mean, not that they haven't seen him, but he doesn't venture out to these PPAs as often as other
I would imagine
players.
he will.
But I mean, he had a good run, and the crazy thing about Augie is he's actually not signed by PPA or MLP.
Do you know the reasoning behind that?
He just was never signed. So he's actually not even draftable at this point. Like, based on MLP's current rules, which are absolutely ridiculous because the game has changed completely since August already. No pun intended, Augie in August.
Yeah.
But since all these players signed in August, there's been new players that have shown up that are good.
Yeah.
And they're not even signed. And it's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah.
There's that Ryan Fu kid that James and Anna think is going to be absolute sensation.
Yeah.
And he's not signed by anybody.
Yeah. I think there's,
Yeah. So.
All right. Men's doubles.
Let's, you
want to start with men's or women's?
Let's go men's.
Okay. Men's doubles.
Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. How'd you do? Speaking of Augie.
Oh, this was my worst tournament in my career. So it all started when I landed in Arizona. I get to the rental car center, and then I reach into my bag.
Yeah.
I realize I left my iPad on the plane. and I'm a big tech guy. I hate leaving stuff behind. I've traveled for 20 plus years, never, not once left something behind.
Did you have these with you?
No, I didn't.
You couldn't.
These were waiting for me back home.
You couldn't summon your iPad.
Exactly, just have it come out.
Yeah.
Anyways, I leave my iPad behind, which I don't care about the monetary value, but what's on it, the passwords,
nobody wants
the
to
pictures,
leave. Yeah, nobody
like
wants to leave that. Yeah.
That is what scared me. So that started
The pictures on it scared you?
of my family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very clean pictures.
Okay.
So that started, and then
Yeah.
I get to the place where I was staying, and since my bag was open because I was looking for the iPad, I get out of the car, and of course my very expensive laptop falls to the ground and scuffs up all the corners, and so that was a great start.
You're having a rough.
Yeah.
You had a rough. Did you?
And then I played singles the next day. I won the first round, and then I lost to Anik Lawani, who's a great player.
Yeah, Anik's great. Was he wearing his Kirkland cargo shorts?
No, he had actual
Okay.
good shorts. I was up in the second game pretty big, so I'm kind of disappointed I lost that. But he's a good player. And then mixed doubles, I really don't even want to talk about. That was
We just skipped over it.
yeah, we just went over that. And then men's doubles as well. We played Augie and Craig, who's a good team.
Yeah. Who play together a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hopefully this will be a my worst tournament ever, and I won't have anything
Nowhere to go.
competes.
Nowhere to go. But so the crazy thing about Augie and Craig is that nobody's really talking about is they had match points against them in the opening round.
In the first round, they almost lost. It was, I believe, a qualifying team.
It was a qualifying team. Yeah.
They had 2, maybe 3 match points against them.
Yeah. They end up winning 14-12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching it from a distance, and they were in a corner,
Yeah.
so I couldn't see everything that was going on. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So then you guys end up playing them. They end up beating you guys.
Yep.
Tyson and Deckel actually lose game 1 to West Burroughs and Ross.
So I talked to one of those players afterwards, and I mean, as we were talking about earlier, there's not much room on those courts.
Yeah.
And Deckel and Tyson are known for having some of the biggest
I
serves.
can't even tell you how many. Yeah, you watch those guys as serves, and people were getting pissed playing against them. Also, James Ignatowicz aced Colin Johns.
How many times?
Well, he literally aced him with a serve down the middle, where Colin didn't even get a paddle on it because those
Did he
courts.
roll his eyes?
Oh, he rolled his eyes, threw his head back, did the whole because those courts were so small.
Yeah.
So
I mean, center court was fine, and they had the grandstand courts, which were okay, but the depth behind the baseline, it just wasn't much. And so, if you are playing singles or somebody that does have a big serve, it's extremely tough to get those back.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get into it just really quick here. So Ben and Colin, obviously, they end up. I mean, they didn't have a tough road. They played Will Howes and Johnny Goldberg.
Yeah.
Then they played Daniel De La Rosa and Martin Emmerich, and then they played Jay and Ben Newell. Which
I'm shocked. Nothing against Jay or Ben, but I'm shocked they beat Connor and Rafa.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Jay's in their head. Because Jay's beaten.
He beat him last tournament too. Yeah, I know.
And I've played against Connor and Ruff, and they're a good team.
Yeah, yeah. Jay and Ben beat. I mean, they beat Anderson Scarpa and Marshall Brown, former Black Bears.
Yeah,
8 and 6.
Yeah,
but then they beat Connor and Ruff 11-3, 12-10.
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, but that being said, Ben and Colin, although with this, Ben Newell has beaten Ben and Colin before, so. Yeah. So Jay and Ben Newell had a nice little run there. I would say that Pablo and Fed lost to Julian and Christian.
I was there for that match as well.
Yeah, in the quarters.
Yeah.
That was a little bit surprising. And then maybe the biggest upset of the day, Eric Lang and Zane beating Thomas and Riley. Mm-hmm. That's a huge upset. They played really well. Eric and Zane played outstanding this weekend. It was like, have you ever seen that show Robin Big?
No.
Back in the day, Rob Dyrdek.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
but,
that's what it was like Zane and Eric.
Oh yeah, didn't you say they had a picture of?
Yeah, Zane was jumping. Yeah, and Eric is like standing there, and like they're about the same height.
And Eric is still taller. Than
yeah,
Zane
Eric's still
jumping.
taller. Yeah, but they had an awesome run. Yeah, and then Deckel and Tyson were getting crushed by Matt and James. And then they start throwing those big serves. And they end up coming all the way back and beating them.
They were down, Tyson and Deckel 1-7, right, in the third game. And they came back to win 11-7.
Yeah, 11-7. Yeah. And they lost game 1. And they were So, and then
Ben and Colin kind of roll in 3 games against Tyson and Declan, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Ben and Colin actually freaking Julian Arnold and Christian, I thought they had him.
Mm-hmm.
Julian tried 2 weird. Look, Julian is Julian, and this is the things that you have to live and die.
He said you're becoming his number 1 fan.
I'm a big fan of Julian. I just want to ride the Mercedes.
Andiamo Mobile.
The Andiamo, it's a Q though. It was weird. His dad must have like Andiamo.
I was talking to a big car guy, and I showed him his car, and he said there's about $100,000 difference between his car and the next one up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think his is like a 43 or a 63, and the other one is a little bit more expensive.
Okay, but
they're still expensive.
Still a nice car. Yeah. So Julian, he's Julian, right? You got to live and die. You're not going to get to the point that he got to in the semis without some of the chances that he takes and some of the shots he hits.
Yeah.
But you also die with it in the sense that like he tried 2 speed ups in a row to Ben's forehand in a 10-10 game, and Ben just sat on him.
Yeah.
And so Ben and Colin end up winning that. And then, they roll Declan and Tyson. It was 11-3, 11-3, 11-9. And then Eric and Zane win the bronze.
Yeah.
How about all the bronze matches being played?
Let's go. If not, you're going to get a big fine.
Big fine.
And lose points.
Yes. So they were all played.
Yeah.
Eric and Zane take home the bronze.
Congrats. I always say this. I love seeing upsets or the underdogs winning. It just provides a lot of entertainment. Yeah.
It's great to watch.
Congrats to those guys.
Women's doubles. I would say that there was a match that was probably the most exciting match of the entire weekend.
Which one?
Jackie and Jade versus Annalie and Catherine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Game 3. We're going to skip all the way to game 3.
Okay.
Jackie and Jade.
Is this finals or semis?
Semi quarters.
Okay.
Jackie and Jade had an 11-3 lead. Oh, sorry, 9-3 lead.
Okay.
9-3.
In game 3.
In game 3.
Jeez.
8-1
Yeah.
and 9-3.
Yeah.
And they were rolling. They were bringing Catherine and Annalie to the kitchen.
Yeah.
They were out dinking them. They were absolutely rolling.
Yeah.
And Annalie and Catherine just flipped the switch.
Were there side outs?
There weren't many side outs. They ran it.
Did they call timeouts?
They used timeouts. They ran it to 7. They ran it to 7-9. They called a timeout. They ran it to 9-9. They called a timeout. They ended up getting the lead 10-9, and Jackie and Jade finally got a side out, got the ball back, immediately gave it back to them.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah, immediately gave it back, and they ended up losing 11-9.
Yeah.
And it was tough because, honestly, 1, they had them. 2, I think their strategy, they weren't going to bang with them. And those 2, we know that they're I think they're arguably the 2 of the best defensive players in all of pickleball, right? And so they weren't going to bang with them. And they made it a slow.
The Kawamotos?
Kawamotos made it kind of a slow, ugly game.
Yeah.
And ugly in the sense that like they were going to dink, they were going to counter, they were going to make Annalie and Catherine hit one more shot, one more shot. And they weren't going to beat themselves. And it was working. And then when Annalie and Catherine got down 9-3, it was almost like they were like, okay, now we just have to go back to our strategy. And they started driving every ball. And every time Jackie and Jade went to unwind the stack, they would just catch them with that drive.
Gotcha.
It'd have the whole point would be off balance. And
wow.
It was close. That was as close as I've seen.
Annalie and Catherine, are they 60 tournaments and 0 or 60 matches?
Matches.
Okay.
No, 60
matches and 0.
Yep.
So they almost lost that streak.
Yeah, so that was number 59.
What's the biggest streak in pickleball history? Is it Ben's singles?
I think it is. Yeah, I think they said Ben's.
What was that, like 87?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Matches?
It was something stupid.
Oh my gosh.
It was from like 2018 to 2022 or something, 2021?
Probably 21. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Which could, especially when you look at singles now.
Yeah.
And how there's
never happened.
There's so much parity.
I don't think anybody could go on more than literally a 20 run streak.
It's hard. Streak. It would be Catherine and Annalie it'd be interesting what.
And men's singles.
Yes. Yeah. But Catherine and Annalie, it's going to be interesting what their, what happens. Etta and Megan, they actually look like they could challenge them this year. they played them fairly tough for the most part. Anna and Rachel, played them okay. The problem with Anna and Rachel is I think their styles are too similar to Annalie and Catherine's, and so you're not going to outbang those two.
Yeah.
Where Jackie and Jade play a contrasting style and Etta plays a contrasting style.
Yeah.
Etta actually has the defense and the power.
Yes.
And so it's going to be interesting what happens and if one of those teams can get hot and knock them off this year. Tim, I was talking to Tim Parks and he said something that maybe we overlook on the show is, I said, oh, it's bad luck to be on Annalie and Catherine's side of the draw. Mm-hmm. And he kind of said to me, he said, look, one, somebody's got to beat them.
Yes.
Two, you're better off playing them early.
First, exactly.
Because beating them 2 out of 3 than you are 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Because nobody's beating them 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great point.
But early in the aspect that you're talking like first, second, maybe third round.
Yeah. And that was Jackie and Jade had them in the quarters.
Yeah.
And so, they were close. And the thing is Annalie and Catherine had played one match. They played and they won 11-1, 11-2. Mm-hmm. So they probably cruised through that.
Yeah.
And then they had to go straight into that match with the Kawamotos. So that was good and the Kawamotos had just played the Brashas. And they beat them 6-8. So it wasn't like a super strenuous match, but it was like a good, solid team.
Yeah.
So they were ready. And so I think that all those things combined just kind of worked in their favor and they just couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah. Anyways, worst tournament for myself, but I actually think it got a lot of great publicity. There were a lot of good matches, a lot of upsets. I think this is going to continue. As I said, I think, 2 out of 3 in pickleball, it can be anyone's game.
What do you think about Fed? Fed sent out a tweet saying that after playing both formats, he's a progressive draw guy.
Yeah, we've only had one progressive on the PPA side. Yeah. And so it's kind of hard to make that judgment or that opinion 100%. I would still give it another 2 to 3 months to truly form an opinion. But for somebody who's going the distance, who's a Ben or a Federico, most of the day, singles, doubles, and mix, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you if you're going deep in each event, then you definitely want to play progressive.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Moving on. The next PPA is going to be Mesa. So back to Arizona, but just on the different side.
And it's progressive draw.
And it is a progressive draw. So
1,500 or whatever point.
Yeah. I don't even know how the points work. But will we see all those MLP holdouts like JW and stuff?
So that's going to be interesting because I heard for now the plan is for them to play. However,
I don't see them playing if there isn't anything that's done before then.
No, at this point I think we've talked about this before, but right now everybody's paying their own way.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no travel reimbursement.
Yep.
And there's no prize money.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about
there was a rumor that Dylan did not get paid for Masters, and I think that's incorrect. I think he did get paid. It's just a very, very small amount.
Yeah, he didn't get paid exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's think about this, okay? If you're, Utah to Arizona is very inexpensive, and it's close. Mm-hmm. Now these players, a lot of these players are coming from Florida and other places. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're $500 for a flight, you're $100 a night in a hotel, and it's a progressive draw, so you could be there Tuesday through Saturday.
Yep.
Right. So say 5 days, 4 days hotel. And then you're obviously rental car,
food,
everything. You're $2,000 to $3,000.
Not only that,
minimum.
But you're missing out on the opportunity to teach or work or make money elsewhere.
Exactly. So say you're $2,000 to $3,000 to play in this tournament. Mm-hmm. You're not getting paid for the tournament, and you're not getting paid prize money if you win.
Yeah. You are just a very small amount.
Yes. So what is the point of playing in these tournaments right now until... And my guess is it's a sponsorship thing.
Yeah, sponsorship, or they just want to stay sharp. They want to stay good. If they're not playing tournaments, then the first tournament they come back.
But when does that run out? When does it run out where, okay, now you played Palm Springs, you played Phoenix, now you're playing Mesa, you're $10,000 out of your own pocket into this season.
Yeah.
And you have nothing in return, nothing in sight. When do you stop playing and when does it run out?
Real quick, I'm going to stop you. Because we have a title ball sponsor of this show of KOTC. We have Vulcan.
Big Vulcan fan.
Tell us about this ball, Jimmy. This is the official ball of the PPA Tour. And also the official ball of KOTC podcast.
I think that this ball is the reason we're seeing such close matches.
Maybe.
I think that the players that have adapted the best to this ball are spinning it better. Mm-hmm. They are figuring it out.
Yep.
It's keeping people in rallies longer.
Do you see Christian Alshon's Instagram post?
Yeah.
He said
I cringed the whole way through.
They get a little bit wobbly, or they're sometimes a little bit wobbly. However, if they're not, they're really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly, like, these balls are allowing players to stay in firefights longer. Mm-hmm. And it's creating more exciting matches. I would say that...
Imagine watching a match with this VR and being there literally in the middle of the point and seeing the ball go right in front of your face. You turn and you look at it. You turn this way. That's the future.
What if it hits you in the face?
There's going to be a ball that just comes out.
Because you don't see it. Are there games on that? Can you play StarCraft on that?
Kind of.
Have you done it yet?
No.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah.
But
this thing's crazy.
I heard people are mad because you can't watch Netflix.
Well, you can, but they don't have a native app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have to watch it through.
You have to go through the internet, like a normal web page, and then go to Netflix, but it's not a native app like on your iPad.
Oh. Yeah. Some guy will come up with it.
Exactly.
Netflix, for sure. So Vulcan, here's the thing with the Vulcan ball, okay? It's creating more exciting matches.
Yep.
Right? You can there's knocks on whatever. You can, Vulcan's...
But it is the ball that the PPA is using.
It is. And Vulcan's continuing to innovate it, by the way.
They are making changes.
They're making changes. They're continuing to innovate. They want to perfect it. But right now it is creating much more exciting pickleball matches, and I love it. I'm pumped about it.
Do you know what the number one compliment or positive thing people say about this ball?
It's green.
The color.
Yeah.
People love the color. And now looking back, it's like, why was the previous balls not an optic color?
Yeah, that's kind of a weird, yeah. Although there's always been that knock on that previous ball where like the yellow ones lasted longer than the green ones. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was always like I think we get these weird pretenses in our head about balls, right? Mm-hmm. About like, again, like the previous ball, the yellow doesn't last as long as the green, and the green, is this, and this one cracks, and this one, play with this ball. We all have our preferences.
Yeah.
But the reality is if you do want to play with the official ball of the PPA, it's the Vulcan.
Exactly. Yep.
And so you can have your preference and you can, do your thing, but
it's not going to be the exact same.
It's not going to be the official ball, and it's not the ball that the pros play with.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Do your thing. But this ball has had positive feedback.
Yeah. It's had positive feedback. Yeah.
And we're not seeing 14-12 in the third against Ben and Annalie, or, we're not seeing 11-9 with the Kawamotos resetting every single ball against Annalie and Catherine with the previous ball.
Yeah.
We're just not
Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Vulcan, for your sponsorship of this show. We love your product. Use code KOTC at vulcansportinggoods.com to make that price a little bit more economical. Sorry, I cut you off before. You were talking about the next tournament and how maybe some of these MLP players may or may not go to it.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I don't know who is going to plan it. I think that this next one, I feel like this next one, we're going to have players there and we're going to have that wishful thinking. After Mesa is where I feel like we may see players drop off, because
if something hasn't been agreed upon.
Because we are told that maybe this is the week. Maybe this is the week that we finally have a vote.
Yep. So with that said, Jimmy, give us the latest on the MLP stuff.
Yeah. So MLP, what I've heard is that it's very possible that this is the week that they vote. I heard it could be as early as Wednesday. Everything. So there was a couple of owners that went through the merger terms, and they had some things that they wanted changed. They sent like 10, 12 bullet points over to PPA, and I was told that Dundon agreed to all of them. He didn't think that any of them were outlandish or crazy. He said that they're all very reasonable, and he agreed to them. Mm-hmm. And so at this point, it sounds like they're very close to having just, voting yes or no. Now,
in your expert opinion, when do we begin MLP? Is it within 2 months, 3 months, July, August?
I think that
2030?
I think that MLP wants to begin obviously as soon as possible. And so I think that March 30th in North Carolina is my prediction. Because
realistic prediction or best case scenario prediction?
I think that's best case scenario.
What is a realistic prediction?
But I think realistically, if it depends on what they decide. If they want to do like a live draft and they want to hype this up, because here's the thing, MLP has a lot of what's the word? Making up to do. They've got a lot of bridges to repair. Right? If they want to do that, then they've got to start hyping this up. You can't just throw things into an event because the event's going to be a disaster. So you've got to do some build up at this point, right? And I think that the draft is a good way to do that.
Yeah.
If you do some online draft with, where everybody sends in their picks over Zoom, I just don't think that like you need to make it up to the fans and you got to bring the fan interest back to MLP. And so for me, I'm not sure that you just rush into an event. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would say that ideally, mid-April would be a good time to start. Give yourself some time to do some build-up. Give yourself a time to have the social media of these teams, get a draft going, build these teams, start pumping out social media, start, building anticipation to the first event, things like that. That's my take on it. Let people start getting behind their teams, right? Like, oh, this team drafted, my favorite player. Let me start getting behind them. Let's get merch out. Let's do all of those things. So I would say mid-April.
Okay.
The current schedule, I don't know if the current schedule is going to stay intact or if it's going to change. But
I would imagine they need to redo it.
Yeah. I mean, the February events are gone, right? Like there's supposed to be an event at the end of February in San Diego.
But that seems like if those January and February events are gone, then that kind of throws off the point system and just kind of everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So how do you do it? Do you start March and then you throw in events at the end? Like we already know that Utah is going to have an event that was not previously announced.
But that's a PPA tournament, right?
They're going to do MLP. If the merger goes through, they're going to attach MLP to it.
Gotcha.
So that's one way to make up one of these February events is that you attach MLP to that. Which, by the way, that Utah event's going to be sick.
Utah event, late August.
Yeah.
Come out. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Me and Jimmy, we're going to be there.
We will 100% be there. It is 20 minutes from my house.
Hey, are you going out to Mesa? Are we going out to Mesa?
I think we're going to plan it. I think we want to, right?
Okay, we're going to try and do a live pod or set up like a booth area where we talk to different people, maybe do a Q&A. And so if you are planning on going out to Mesa or you're thinking about it, go out there and we will provide some more information on that.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. So anyways, MLP, I heard they're going to vote. I think once they vote, then they have to sit down and they have to figure out what the season actually is going to look like, right? The other thing is though, you got to pay these players.
Yes.
Because now you're 2-3 months into the season, players haven't been paid.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like if they did a capital call, I think that there would be absolute.
If they did a capital call, there would be
a revolt.
A revolt is what
it would
saying.
End. I think a capital call right now to the owners would end in MLP.
So I don't think a lot of people know this, but within MLP, they've done a couple times what they call a capital call, where they call upon owners to say, "Hey, we need more money for X, Y, and Z.
Invest capital into the business," which is very common.
Somewhat common in investments.
Yeah, it's a very common thing.
But
at this point,
when you're not planning on that, and they're asking you for $500,000 monthly or yearly, whatever it is. A lot of people don't want to pay that.
They don't, and I know
especially when they haven't been seen.
Yeah, they haven't been
ROI.
seen, and they don't. There's no ROI, and they don't know what the future looks like.
Yeah,
like hey, invest another $200,000 each, from these 24 owners into this business, but we actually don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that there are owners out there that would gladly do it if they knew that money was going to go straight to the players and to get the players paid and to get this done sooner. I think that they would, because there are owners out there that feel like, like we do.
Yeah.
And they feel like these players need to get paid and they deserve to get paid at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is very sticky, very tricky. It's very fluid. It's changing hourly.
I was also told that there's only a handful of players now at this point they've not agreed to
the new terms.
Yeah. So that part of it seems like it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah. But I mean, this is a little nugget just to provide context. Like, I know for a fact there were multiple players who signed with MLP who met with PPA during the last tournament, and they were not crying, but they were just trying to figure out ways that they can start getting paid. Because right now, those MLP players, they are not getting paid.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And if a merger is coming, then there's hopefully they're going to get paid soon. But at this point, it's like PPA.
What do you do if you're PPA? Do you pay those guys, or do you wait until everything's through?
You can't. The problem with PPA, if you're PPA, you can't pay them. Mm-hmm. You can pay because you pay them, and like it's not your job to pay them. I know this sounds stupid, but it's not, right? And
they're not under their umbrella.
Yeah, and you're not getting any of that money back. Now, do you want to pay if you pay them prize money? Sure. Mm-hmm. But these players sign contracts with MLP. It is MLP's job to pay them. The thing that's crazy to me is why, like, I feel like MLP, I know that they're being good negotiators, but MLP really could have told their players, you can't play PPAs until this is done. Mm-hmm. Like, that's honestly what they could have. They actually have that right because they're under contract, and they could have told these players no PPAs. Mm-hmm. Right now, PPA is getting all the players, all the publicity, everything. And if this merger somehow falls apart and doesn't go through, PPA's got all the momentum, and they're.
But what other options do those players have? The MLP players.
Well, that's the thing. MLP should have. Well, I have my own opinions on this, but obviously it all takes money, and so it's easy for me to spend other people's money. But MLP should have ran a season 1, possibly without PPA, without PPA players, and then you run a season 2 when the merger is completed. But that's easier said than done, and it's a lot of money, and you're talking about big investments, and I think that most people expected the merger to be done before now. Yeah. So
up until now, I feel like the past 2-3 weeks, there was a lot of ongoing information where it was literally daily, but it almost seems like it's at the point where it just needs to get done. Like there's not a lot of things that could change it. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are, but it's just waiting on time. It seems like.
Yep. I agree.
Okay. Anything else with the merger?
No, I mean, I think fingers crossed. Like it feels close finally for once. Yeah. But again, stranger things have happened.
Jilly B is going to come out with the Collective Part 2.
Collective Part 2, and there's some other stuff that could possibly hold it up. There's some weird things that people would be surprised about holding it up, like things with like Duper and stuff like that. Okay. So we'll see what happens.
All right, moving on. We want to give a big shout out to our next sponsor, C&D Pickleball Nets. They make the best pickleball nets. Go check them out. What's their website, Jimmy?
TheBestPickleballNets.com.
TheBestPickleballNets.com. Use code KOTC for yourself, or if you're buying for a gym, a church, or a club. They make the best nets. You're able to move them to another facility or move them off your driveway or whatever.
You know what's crazy about C&D?
Tell us.
I was looking at another net manufacturer. I won't mention any names. It's like a $3,000 net. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I was just looking because now that we have C&D as a sponsor and now that we've been to C&D's factory, it's kind of one of those things where I can't help but look at other nets. Mm-hmm. Right. And I was looking at them and I looked down at the wheels, and their wheels are literally like plastic wheels that look like something you'd buy at Hobby Lobby in a bag of 100. Yeah. Seriously. They're like these little plastic wheels. Yeah. And I just thought, like, what? This is what you're putting on these freaking $3,000 nets?
We went there and toured their facility, and he said just the wheels alone cost close to $100, somewhere in that ballpark. They're like very, very quality wheels.
Yeah. And the wheels on this other net I was looking at, they were like these plastic pieces of crap that were like on a Hot Wheel. Yeah. Like it was wild. And I thought, what, like if those are where you're cutting corners, where else are you cutting corners? Yeah. Where C&D is not doing that. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm a huge fan. Like there's just not a better net on the market. Like we are very selective about what we choose. I know we've got a lot of grief about certain things, but we're very selective about what we choose as sponsorships. And we
sell out.
Sell out. And we've had the opportunity to have other sponsors come onto the pod. We've even had other people that manufacture nets, and we're very selective, and C&D was the best net. And for the best podcast, you want to have the best net. And so it made sense.
Yeah, go check them out. Use
KOTC.
code KOTC. It saves you a little bit of money, supports them, supports us.
Someone used our code over the weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we don't have that much more to talk about. We're just going to follow up with the Pickleball Slam.
Pickleball Slam. What'd you think? Did you watch it?
I did not watch it, but I thought the publicity was pretty good. We had Maria Sharapova.
Yeah.
Big fan of hers. Andre Agassi.
Yeah.
Steffi Graf.
Yeah. John McEnroe.
Jack Sock.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. It was entertaining. I think that the biggest one, they're all solid pickleball players. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing. They've all gotten better. I think Agassi and Steffi Graf are really good. I think that they actually are, 5-0 level players. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Jack Sock is.
Agassi seems like he genuinely likes it. He does a lot of interviews, and
they
genuinely likes it.
They play several times a week, if not a day.
Yeah.
So they're very much into pickleball. Agassi's
fun.
Actually now an investor in Duper. So it was fun. Here's the craziest thing: 600,000 viewers on ESPN, going up against the Grammys.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that there's a lot of Swifties that are also pickleball fans. Mm-hmm. So that number probably would have been higher.
Yeah.
So 600,000 viewers is impressive.
What's like average for that? Do you know?
For
I don't know, a premiere or a show or a sports game.
Well, it just depends on
like 600,000. That's great, but like what?
It just depends on the event. Like college football games. Like there's college football games that are like if you watch the Utah versus Baylor is probably 1.1, 1.2 million.
Okay.
Which isn't, so 600,000 that's not horrible on a, Sunday night.
Okay. So the prize money was $1 million.
Yeah.
And that went to charity, right?
I think they win it. I thought they won it.
Somebody said it went to charity and then they were just given appearance fees.
Oh, okay.
Which would make more sense to me.
You don't think Andre Agassi needed $1 million?
I think it was for charity.
Okay. I mean, I would have wanted the money.
I'm sure you would.
No, it says $1 million cash purse.
Yeah, but is that for charity or
$1 million?
Huh. Interesting. We'll have to get clarification on that. But yeah, they do this once a year.
Yeah, so this is the second one.
Okay.
Pickleball Slam.
How did Sharapova look?
She looked good. She's solid. I mean, I think she obviously is pretty new.
Yeah.
But dude, these are high. These aren't high level tennis players. These are the best tennis players to ever play the game.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was pretty funny. They interviewed Agassi at the beginning, and he was going through like how many Grand Slams he's won, how many tournaments, his ranking, and then he's like, and I'm the second best player in my household. Mm-hmm. Right. These are the best of the best, and they're playing pickleball, and it's freaking awesome. Obviously, McEnroe is always entertaining, even though he foot faults every single time. I felt like Jack Sock wasn't like going full out.
No.
But you could bet on this. Mm-hmm. You could gamble on it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was fun. I'm excited for
burner account. It's always
Sophia Petrillo. Yeah,
they always post pictures of them traveling across the states to make those bets.
Yeah, so I think it's exciting. I do think that they haven't figured out betting on pickleball yet because like the max bets are like $44, which doesn't move the needle for anybody. Yeah, because everybody, at this point, I would say that the degenerates, the pickleball fans, probably know more than the odds makers. Yeah. And so the odds makers are being very cautious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting. I think that Pickle Slam 3, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And, I was at the Hard Rock. It was sold out. It looked packed in there. Mm-hmm. So it's great. I think that, even though it's completely separate from PPA and MLP, is great for the sport.
Yeah. Overall, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yep. Oh, okay.
You see that? Learned that in school.
Wow.
Yeah,
look at
exactly.
This guy.
Anything? Anything else?
No. Should we have some questions?
I didn't ask him.
Oh, we don't need them. That's great.
Real quick, we wanted to give another shout out to our sponsor, Reset Paddle. They sent us a little bit information on their product because some people say it's spammy or snake oil or whatever, but we are here to tell you it works. So what it is it cleans your paddle, and I'm going to read you the exact
spammy
definition. So they said our special ingredient is a property that contains what's called an emulsifier. It essentially breaks up plastics like caked on ball residue and lifts it from the paddle. So you'll often see almost powder coming off the paddle after a few cleanings. That's actually the ball coming off in particles.
So what it does is it will take all these pieces.
It breaks it down and then lifts it up, and then that's where you wipe it.
Yeah. So what it does though, so like all these pieces of particles that end up on your paddle that get into your grooves and gets into the face of the paddle.
Yep.
It actually clumps it up and has it all come out.
Yep. And when your paddle gets caked on with that ball residue, and this ball, it is a little bit softer.
Yeah. It's plastic. Plastic's going to come apart. Plastic. Yeah.
Exactly. So it gets kind of stuck on those paddles.
Yeah.
But if you spray this and you kind of let it sit for a little bit, it kind of cleans those grooves a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I always say this, those dry erasers kind of damage those grooves.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing this, it smells so good.
And I feel like those erasers just move. They don't clean the grooves. They just move the particles in the grooves.
Yeah. So go check them out. It's paddlereset.shop and use code KOTC.
They had a commercial during PPA.
What?
They had a commercial during the PPA.
Were you in it?
No, they should have had me in it. Actually, it was very well produced.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't need me in it.
Okay.
But yeah.
I actually wanted to get your opinion on this.
Oh.
So I was talking with somebody.
VR? Oh.
What?
Oh, I thought you were going to put your headset back on.
Yeah.
I was nervous.
All right. So I was on X.
You see Jilly B get absolutely smashed.
Yeah. Somebody sent a picture. Crazy. Okay. So I did a poll. I was talking to some players and I was surprised a little bit on these questions or these conversations that we were having.
So Tyler has questions.
Yeah. Well, kind of. So which ball plays faster? This ball, the Vulcan V Pro Flight, or the Dura, the Onyx Dura?
Yeah.
Dura Fast 40.
I think the Dura plays faster, because it's a harder ball. However, I think that the reason that there's a little bit of discrepancy is because there are counters that are actually coming back. And so what happens is if you speed up a ball and then you come back with you speed up a Dura, it points over, right? You speed up a ball and then it comes back with a counter with even more force. The ball probably feels faster because the points are lasting longer and it probably is getting sped up back and forth.
Okay, so I would agree. I would say the Dura plays much faster. Yeah. I would say this ball plays much slower, 1,000% much slower. However, I was talking to this fellow pro and he was convinced, Todd Fote. He was convinced that the V Pro Flight was significantly faster. And to prove it, he said him and Scotty J went to the courts and there was about 5 other pros and they hit about 30 minutes worth of serves. And every single serve that was hit with the V Pro was significantly faster than the Dura.
Really?
By 2 to 3 miles per hour.
That's crazy.
How do you explain that?
But pickleball effect.
How do you explain that?
Well, I can't. But pickleball effect they tested the ball speeds.
They did.
And they said the Dura was faster.
Yep.
So who is wrong?
I would imagine that pickleball effect was a little bit more scientific than what Todd and Scotty J were doing. Scotty J on one knee with the speed gun? According to Todd, he said there was 4 to 5 different pros and they all had faster serves with the V Pro.
Now, the one thing that I will say is that the Dura, according to Pickleball Effect, 51.5 miles per hour, where the Vulcan was 50.6. That's minimal.
No, but if that's the average, that's
true. But the pop, so like your pop, so your speed up, was 34.2 compared to 31.7. That's not minimal.
Yeah.
I think that that's pretty significant. The bounce was very, very similar. In fact, the bounce was almost identical between the two, which is interesting considering there's been a lot of knock on the bounce of the Vulcan.
Yeah.
But the bounce between the Vulcan and the Dura is identical.
What Todd eventually ended up saying is a lot of this is location based. Depending on where you're located. So, however, shouldn't it be the same in all locations? Like if the Dura is going to be faster in one location, shouldn't it be faster in another location?
Well, I think so. I think in the end of the day, yes, it just changes the speed, but the difference should stay the same.
Yes, that's what I mean. The difference should be the same.
Yeah, I don't know how that, dude. I'm not smart enough to know how that works, but I do know that when we did that combine, all the players from Florida, literally every single one of them, could not keep a ball in. They said that the ball just flies here in Utah. Like they couldn't believe the altitude and how the ball just flies.
Next question. All right, I was also surprised on this, and this one was much more contested than the other one. So the other poll, it got 73% said that the Duro was faster, and 27% said Vulcan, with close to 400 votes. This next one had 233 votes. I said, why do you think the main reason women's teams have extended rallies? Because it's very well known that women's points last much longer. They're firefights. They stay in them much longer than men's.
Yeah.
Is the reason because they have less power to end the point, or B, standing off the line? Because most of the females, they stand 2 to 4 feet off the line.
Yeah, I think it's both.
Okay, very politically correct answer.
I think that one, that they do have less power.
Okay, if you had to choose one, which would it be?
I think less power is the answer.
Okay, I would strongly disagree with that. But what's your reasoning?
And I think that most women don't want to stand off the line, and now maybe in mixed doubles, but in women's doubles, I hear them like literally. I'll tell you this: Jackie Kawamoto yells at Jade every single time, stay on the line, screams at her. Like that's one of their biggest things. They want to be at the line, but like if you, for example, in MLP, Yana Newell, Yana Grechkina, she backs up 4 feet every single time and plays every ball off the line. And you see it, even like Megan Dazan backs up. You see Catherine Parento, they do back up to give themselves a little bit more time to reset the ball. I do think that there are plenty of women that have power, and there's plenty of women that can put a ball away.
That's what I'm getting at, is I do not think power is an issue.
You think they play a different style of game?
Yes.
And they back off.
Going back to my college days, I played with the women's team a lot. And just standing on the baseline, just rallying, those girls would rip the ball. They would hit it harder than me. You're smiling about something.
Well, sorry. Back in your college days, you played with the women's team a lot.
Exactly.
Okay.
I was the assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or no, the manager.
Okay.
And they would rip balls. However, as soon as we started to do a full-on match where I put spin serves, I would lob it, I would hit angles, it wouldn't even be close. And so it's not an issue of power.
No, I think they have power. There's plenty of power. Annalie has as much power as any dude out there.
Okay, so then are you saying that standing off the line is more of a detriment to them ending the point rather than power?
I think it's both.
Yes, but if you had to choose one.
I think that anytime somebody speeds up a ball or they have an overhead, you're going to naturally back up. But if I had to choose one, I don't think there's a right answer.
I think there is.
I think it's literally both. But yes, I do think that there are times that I've watched a match where somebody has a put away shot, a female, no offense, and they don't have the power to put it away. Neither does Riley Newman. There's no knock on that. But I've also seen in a match where somebody has a put away shot and the female backs up off the line and plays it that way. And
Okay, going into that a little bit more. So a lot of these females, they hit hard, but also they're hitting the balls hard up high. And so they're just swinging into the strike zone of their opponents. Whereas if they would angle that ball downward and put it at their feet, that would win the point. It's not a matter of power in my opinion.
I agree. Also, yes, you got a placement over power all day long.
So you agree with me as standing off the line?
I agree with you that it is 50-50. It depends on the day. What did Anna Bright say? I saw she responded.
You read her comment. It was both.
Well, no, I didn't read her comment, but obviously she is very smart if she agrees with me. And she plays the game, so I'm going to take her word for it.
Okay, let us know in the comments if you think women have more extended rallies because of A, they stand off the line, or B, because they lack power to put the ball away. Anyways, we did not answer or ask questions. We'll do that next time. This week is going to be a busy week for us. We're going to the Super Bowl. Crazy to say.
That's crazy.
Also, big shout out to our sponsors of this show. This show would not be possible without their help. Please go check them out. The Pickler, the best indoor facilities. Go check them out. They are franchising. So if you'd like to own your own business, and this is not a Pickleball Rocks type deal.
Hey, I got to sit in a meeting where the Pickler essentially pitched or went over all their numbers and their franchising numbers with a potential investor. And this is a guy who he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Extremely smart, extremely intelligent guy, knows production, manufacturing inside and out, and he was blown away at the numbers that the Pickler are able to produce for their franchisees. I mean, it was, he couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
And so like they have this down to a science. So if you are interested in franchising, you're interested in running your own pickleball facility, you see a need in your area, like reach out to them. I think that you'd be shocked.
Tell them that we sent you, Jimmy and Tyler, KOTC.
Obviously.
Also, big shout out to Pickleball Central. Go buy your next item, whatever it is, pickleball related. They're going to have it, and they also have the best return policy. Use code KOTC at checkout. We also have a Discord if you'd like to stay up to date with all of that stuff. Yeah. Join our Discord. That will be in the link here below in the description. Big shout out to Vulcan, our official ball of KOTC. Use code KOTC to make that price a little bit more appealing. C&D Net, we love their net. Use code KOTC. And also Reset Paddle.shop. Clean off those paddles, make them stay new. Protect your investment.
Resetpickleball.shop.
Did I say that?
He said paddle.
Sorry, resetpickleball.shop.
Yes.
My apologies. Yep. Thank you for tuning in. If you've made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us go to places like the Super Bowl.
Keep supporting. Thank you. Go check out the Discord.
Do you like these? Should I continue to wear these?
No, I literally was shook for 40 minutes.
Yeah, the beginning.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I can't do it. Like I can't take you serious with those on.
All right. Have a great day. See you guys.